My name is Julio, and this is Bumble. He's my little rescue dog from Romania. I decided to study photography as a mature student at the age of 27. With that degree, on my first year, my mum fell terminally ill, and I had to go to Colombia. And unfortunately, uni wasn't too happy about it, but they wanted me to drop the year, and I said, no, I'm not going to do that. You can give me all the assignments and I'll do them in Colombia. And that's what I did. One of the assignments was a photo documentary, and I basically, from my childhood memories in Colombia of living a humble childhood, I decided to just capture what I remember as a kid, which was being poor. I mean, we never went hungry, but it was very humble home that I had. But we always went out and played. We didn't have much toys, but we made our own toys. We made our own. So that I wanted to capture that in that series, and I did, and that went on after coming back for about 5 years. I traveled through different countries, and always went to the poor areas and photographed kids, and published a book called Work, Play and No Rest, which is about kids in third world countries. About 5 of them are the British Library collection. 2012, when I had the misfortune of landing in prison over an argument with a bouncer that assaulted me, and I ended up retaliating and went to prison for 2.5 years, unfortunately. But it was at that time, the darkest times of my life, that I discovered I could paint while being there. As I had no camera to work with, and just became a prolific painter. Just before the pandemic, I did some workshops for the people in my state, as I saw that the elderly people were isolated, and I wanted to try and bring them together with younger kids, which again, some of them are isolated, and I thought that they could learn from them so much. That we did an 8-week pilot, and it worked really well. Unfortunately, the pandemic came and we couldn't do much after that. So my grandmother died just at the beginning of the pandemic, and I was so saddened, and the fact that I could not go and say goodbye, that I decided to do a portrait of her. And this is it, it's called Stairway to Heaven. I did it from a photograph that I took when I went to see her last. These little steps that she never had at her place, I actually built them for her, and this is the picture was actually taken in the first day that she walked down this ramp, because she was housebound, which I didn't know about for quite some time. And since then, I've painted 7 paintings of elderly people, and the reason for that is because obviously through the pandemic, I saw how many things came to light about the elderly, and that community the age group suffered quite badly through it. Last 18 months have been very, very stressing for me, and draining, after having a relationship with someone that I thought I could help because they have an alcohol and an addiction problem, and I thought having overcome so many things myself, I really thought I could use my experience to do that. And unfortunately, 16 months went by, and it just didn't happen. If anything, things got worse. So I didn't paint very much. I feel really drained, and my artistic flair has kind of dried. The only good thing that happened in the past 18 months has been that I won 3 awards for my paintings. One, the Golden Years. I was a runner-up for the Artist of the Year award by the Visual Arts Association. And the other one was for another project I started during the pandemic called Desire, which was about the search of porn or sexual imagery through the internet on lockdown, so I decided to do an abstract project about that. I want to travel through Spain on a rediscovery trip. Travel around with Bumble. My plan is to get a camper van. Andalusia has quite a big Gypsy community. I'm sure that they suffer from stigmatized and prejudice, and I want to go and document their lives, the culture, and the elderly through photography and film, with the aim to actually exhibit and educate people about their community basically, and eventually want to paint some of those elderly for my series. I've calculated more or less that £8,000 is what I need. So I really need your help. Everyone that contributes to make this happen will be will be awarded with something. Anyone that has a camper van that's not using, very welcome if you want to donate it or lend it to me for. If you donate it, I will give one of my paintings in exchange, and if you lend it to me again, we'll agree on something, and I will reward you somehow, and that will cost cut the cost by 3,500 at least. Applying for grants have always been a failure for me, so I think this is the best way to do it. Please help us to make this happen. With these awards that I'm gaining, and you will be rewarded even further down the line for doing that. Thank you very much for your time and your help. I would love to keep you updated on our journey.